Hello, welcome to my channel. So today I'm gonna make oil paint, and it's real easy to make oil paint, and it's cheap, and you will have the best paint in the world. You can go buy your oil paint in the art store, of course, and I think the best paint you can get in the store is Old Holland. It's not because I'm Dutch, but it's still the best paint you can buy. Looks like this. But the best paint there is the paint you make yourself. So let's do that, because it's real easy, but it's a bit messy. Oil paint is actually nothing more than a pigment and linseed oil. The old masters used it, and so we use that. So what we need a couple of tools. We need a marble plate or a glass plate. We need a glass muller to make the paint. It looks like this. I also use a millstone. It's a stone muller, because it's really heavy, and I like it how it fits the hand. I made this myself. I just found this boulder somewhere, and I cut it in half and polished it, and we have a nice millstone. It's more for the heavy job. This is more for finer work. Anyway, so that's what we need. And so let's start. And you need a tube to put your paint in, so you can use it. And I also add a mix of linseed oil and damar varnish to make it more buttery smooth. So let's start. Of course you need linseed oil, and you also need a couple of palette knives. So I think I need something like this. It's a little bit of a guessing game, how much you need for a tube like this. But I think it's something like this. And you make a little mountain, and you put a little hole in it like a volcano. The amount of linseed oil is always different with every pigment, so you have to use it a little by little, just a tiny bit by a tiny bit. So put a tiny bit of linseed oil in there, and I start to mix it with my palette knife. And just add a tiny bit of oil every time till it becomes a firm paste. already starts to get a little bit pasty and lumpy. So I need a tiny bit more. Yeah. So about this time I'll start to use my milestone, because the texture is really heavy now, so a heavy stone makes it a little bit more easy to mix this shit up. Just press it against the marble plate and do like figure eights. And this is starting to be a real nice paste. There you go. Figure eights. There you go. This is real nice. But it's still a little bit grainy. And I need a little bit more. So I will add a little bit more pigment. This, mix it again, but this time I will start to add the Damar and linseed oil mix. It's 3 parts of Damar varnish and 1 part of linseed oil, and I mix that with it. Just a tiny bit again, and now I start to use the glass muller to make it more fine. And add the mix. Yeah, some pigments need a little bit more oil and some pigments need a bit less. Yeah, there you go. Now it starts to feel really nice. So you can make your paint like you really want it. If you want it really thick, you can leave it thick. If you want it more buttery and smooth, you can add more oil. So you can make your own paint how you really like it. And also you can mix your own colors and put it already in the tube, so you don't have to mix it on the palette, which is really easy. And then again, if you put too much oil in it and it's too buttery and too thin, you can add a drop of water and start to mull again, and then you will see it gets firm again. It's like magic. Yeah, this is real nice. So this is it, and now we have to put it in the tube. So how do we get this in the tube? Well, also bit by bit. This is an empty tube. You can buy them anywhere online. This is like a medical tube, but you can also buy tubes in your art store, empty tubes. And so they're real cheap. You can buy them anywhere. Just bit for bit also, because this can really get really messy. And if you use cadmium-based pigments, you should wear a mask or a respirator, because that's really toxic shit. Every metal-based pigment is bad, so you should wear a mask and gloves. I don't use them because they're too opaque for me. and I really like to use transparent or half transparent pigments. The only opaque pigment I use is my titanium white and chrome yellow. It's a beautiful yellow, but that's the only opaque color I use. The rest of the colors are all like half transparent or transparent, except for some earthy colors which are like sort of opaque, but not really, half opaque. Anyway, alright, so I filled up the tube almost because I need a little bit to fold it back. So there you go, and then I take a little bit of white spirit and a towel, clean this up. Press them together. And then you can use some kind of pliers to fold it over. I use my my canvas tension pliers, whatever you call it, to stretch my canvases, and it's easy to use because it's like the same shape. So you press this, fold it up, fold it back, and I do it like 2 times, and I press also everything to the front. There you go. And there you have your own tube, homemade oil paint, the best paint in the world. There you go. So what you can do now is take a brush and paint your tube so you can see what kind of color you have, of course. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one. Ciao.